Hello everybody, Al Sutton again. Rust Belt Studios, Acme Audio, and I'm here with Vintage King, and we're going to talk about some guitar miking. So what we're looking at here is a Bletchley 50 watt amp, a Marshall 4x12 cabinet, and what I have on here is a Masanovic M2 passive ribbon mic. So normally in the past what I would have done is I would have had maybe a Royer ribbon and a 57 or a condenser and a 57, two microphones blending together to get one tone. I've found that this Masanovic microphone just wonderfully kind of handles all the frequency response of everything I need. So I can get one clean microphone, no phase problems to deal with on the amplifier, and get the tone I'm looking for. For this particular setup, more high gain, heavier tone, I tend to go a little closer on the speaker. Right here I'm doing about a hand width away, 4 fingers away from the center, and I put it right on the center of the dust cap. I've mic'd so many guitar amps over the years, and I've tried many different methods, and one of the things that I used to do when I first started out was I would turn the amplifier on, put the headphones on, get the sound going through it, and I would sweep the microphone to where the hiss was the loudest. And that was a trick I learned years ago, and after doing that for so many times over the years, I've kind of now just instinctively kind of know where to put it to where that particular spot that I enjoy is. I mean, you can do anything you want. You can off-axis it or, move it off to the side. It just depends on what the tone you're going for is. This is how I like to do it and how I've gotten used to doing it over the past few decades. And like I said, for this loud sort of heavy guitar tone, this microphone works great. I also have a far back room mic, a ribbon mic as well. I don't find the room mic to be anything of really importance in the sense of what you use or how you put it. You just put it in the back, mic it, give it up some level, make sure that it's not too muddy or too bright, and just kind of blend it in. So that is, to me, never really an important issue. If I was going to do a different tone, say like this AC30 here, with a little cleaner kind of rhythm, I would bring the microphone probably back out to about 18 to 24 inches, and I would play with it a little bit, depending on what I'm looking for with the tone, just to give it a little different sound. It's never actually the same thing every time. You kind of got to play with it, to work with the guitar part you're playing and the tone that you have coming off the amp and the way the guitar player plays, but it's a good general starting point. So for like getting low end out of a amplifier and get it to translate, you really need an amplifier that actually moves the air. Because you're recording a physical wave. So if the amplifier is moving lots of air, like this Bletchley, for instance, I love this amp because it has so much, I wouldn't say low end, it just moves a lot of air. So when you're in the room, you really feel it. And that thing really translates. This AC30 moves so much air. This particular, these old Voxes, when you're playing this dust, this little grill cloth will be flapping in the wind. And all that air movement translates into a bigger sound as you record. I find that the more you overdrive an amplifier in the preamp section, the smaller it tends to become, and that's another reason why I don't like to do lots of microphones on an amp, because the more microphones you put on a speaker, you're dealing with phase cancellation, and even if you get them perfectly, you're still a minute amount of degrees off. So every little bit of phase cancellation is taking your low end away. So I find that you get the best sound out of one microphone close, one back. You have no phase relation between the two microphones. So it just tends to be a bigger sound. But it really starts with an amplifier too, though. And the closed back definitely pushes some air. But that is a closed back sound versus an open back sound. They are completely different things. You wouldn't try to get what this can do out of this particular amplifier and vice versa, although you can get some pretty cool clean tones out of a Marshall or the Marshall style amps, and this can get pretty gritty too. So, it's just a matter of the right equipment and, once again, the right guitar and the right player. Okay, so let's plug this amp in and get some tones out of this. I'm going to have a friend of mine from England, Joanne Shaw-Taylor, a phenomenal blues guitar player. She's going to plug in and get us some tones, and we can see what we got. So now this is the Bletchley with the channels tied and both volumes up all the way, so this is more of the muddy or fuzzy tone. Here is the straight guitar, close mic, no pedals, just straight amplifier. And that's the close mic, the far mic, room mic. So I just kind of blend it in there, just to give it a little depth when I mix. Sometimes I can pan it hard left and right to get more of an effect, but when you start stacking too many guitars, the left and right room thing tends to get a little cloudy, so I tend to put them on the same pan point. All right, now here's the same tone with the range lowered Jextelez pedal that I use a lot for rhythm tones. Just kind of opens up the guitar sound a bit. This is the Bletchley again, just straight, no effects, no pedals. Channel's tied up all the way.